What's happening, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Adam. This is Vancity Audi, and behind me you see my 2023 Mk8 Gti Performance. And in this video, I'm going to announce the tuner battle that will be taking place on my channel over the course of this racing season. It's going to start in a couple weeks' time, and for this video, I'm going to announce each of the companies that will be working with me to get the absolute most performance out of my Mk8 Gti. All right, guys, we've made our way inside the office of Ryder Performance. This is my home away from home where the majority of all the modifications are made to my car. I'll spend the rest of this video in this exact spot going through all of the different companies that are going to help me with this build and find out exactly which one operates the best on my Mk8 Gti. First thing we're going to cover are the companies that have decided to opt out of this tuner battle for multiple reasons, which I will go over right now. The first one is EQT. I reached out to EQT and politely asked them if they'd like to join this tuner battle, and they said no. At this present time, they don't feel like their offerings are enough of an apples to apples comparison. I don't think they feel like they've had enough time for the R&D necessary to compete against the other brands that have had software available in the market for years now. So EQT has bowed out. I reached out to RACINGLINE, and sadly, they decided to bow out as well. They do not have enough validations, logs, dyno testing on my box code for my model year. I do have a 2023 Mk8 Gti, and some companies haven't done as much development on those as they have the previous models. And the last company that won't be participating in this tuner battle is Integrated Engineering. At this present time, they do not have any software on the market available for a Mk8 Gti. I did ask them. I was very excited to have them on board because I have used them for my B8 S4 build and my B9 S4 build, and I've had a ton of fun and seen some awesome performance with their software, but sadly, they will not be participating. And now for the companies that are participating and a little bit of information on each of them and my experience with each of them. The first company participating is APR. APR has decided to come on board and join me for this tuner battle, and they are going to actually be the very first company that I'm using for software for my build. The reason for that is they offer an 87 octane tune, an 87 octane low torque APR Plus file, meaning if you pay $1,000 extra, you'll also get a limited powertrain warranty. This is the only company that I know offers that software, so they will be the first ones that I put on my GTI. Full transparency, I'm a little hesitant. I've never used an 87 octane fuel tune, and I'm very interested to see how they manage. I've seen the data logs on my Mk8 Gti running a completely stock tune on our 87 octane fuel, and it already looks a little dicey. So I'm going to be really impressed if they manage to get much more out of the car running their 87 octane tune. As for the experience I have with APR, I did a full APR build for my 2016 Audi S3. It worked rather well. The drivability wasn't as great as I would have liked it, but it certainly made power. The next thing I did is I used their high pressure fuel pump in my B9 S4. Since then, I have used nothing else. So I'm excited to see what APR can do in terms of horsepower and torque on the dyno and in terms of drivability as soon as we flash their software. Now, the next company that's going to be joining me on this tuner battle is a local company to me called TUNEZILLA. You might have never heard of them before, but you actually have. They used to be known as Malone Tuning. Now, Malone Tuning is known worldwide for their diesel tuning, their awesome diesel tuning. We do sell that here at Ryder Performance, and we've seen a lot of awesome stuff come out of it. But we're going to be using their software on my turbocharged gasoline-powered motor, which I am not too familiar with, but I have seen some of the performance they've done at our local track. They have a 9-second Audi S3 on a stock block. Pretty cool stuff. I've seen it at the track myself. It rips, makes some funny noises. I'm used to seeing that shape, an 8V in an RS3 style, going 9. So it's pretty cool to see their S3 going 9s, and I'm excited to see what they can do. Will they have an advantage because they're used to tuning their vehicles on our local fuel? Time will only tell. The next company that will be joining me is the one and only UNITRONIC. You guys have heard that name a ton of times on this channel because I have been a UNITRONIC user back in my 2016 S3. I also ran UNITRONIC software in it as well as APR software. And then for my 2018 RS3, I have used that for the past, I want to say 4 or 5 years now, and have been super impressed with it. We do sell it here at Ryder Performance. We sell a lot of it. It works extremely well, great drivability, great power, and overall I've had a really good experience with UNITRONIC, so I will be excited to see how they perform against the other tunes as well. United Motorsport is also going to be joining me, and I use them as well on my 2016 S3, except they managed to get me over the hump, and I set a world record in that Audi S3 back in 2017. I had the world's fastest stock turbo S3. No one heard of me though, and no one heard of that record because I didn't have social media back then, and I didn't have a YouTube channel. I ran an 11.7 at 117 miles per hour using all APR hardware, but United Motorsport software. So I am really excited to get United Motorsport on my car to see how well it works. They're not as big as a company as some of these other companies that I'm using, but they do know what they're doing, and I have proof with what I've done in my car previously. And the last company that's going to be joining me on this tuner battle is 034 Motorsport. Now, some of you that are familiar with the channel and some of you that have seen what I've said over the past couple years on Facebook might not understand why I'm using 034 Motorsport. Now, the first thing that I have to go over is I have made many mistakes over the past couple years, and one of them was being a dick to 034 Motorsport. What ended up happening is I did say some rude things about the way they operated, their professionalism, just overall as a company. I was saying some pretty bad stuff. Now, the reason why I think it's necessary that I apologize and make it known that I messed up is the reason I said all that thing, the bulk of the reason I said all that thing is because it felt like a lot of people were telling me their opinions about the company behind closed doors, via social media, all letting me know, oh, I had this bad experience, I had that bad experience. And what I did is I stupidly and wrongly took it upon myself to voice other people's opinions for them. That's just stupid. I shouldn't be doing that. I never should have done that, and I do apologize to 034 Motorsport for that. I need to stick to what I know, and that is data. That is performance metrics, and that's what I do on this channel. So I reached out to 034, I apologized for what I did, and I wanted them to know that I am all in for making them known if their software outperforms everybody else. I want to see it. I want to be able to showcase to the world just how effective their software is, if it works as well as everybody else's, which I'm sure it will. So I'm excited to give 034 Motorsport another chance. Again, I messed up. I shouldn't have been bad-mouthing them. This world has enough bullshit in it where other people are putting down other people and just shaming other people. And I've never wanted to be about that. I've always wanted to promote competition, but in a positive way. Like when you see other people performing well on other people's social media posts, rather than shitting on them and tearing them down and, oh, you did this or what the hell and just say kudos to you and find out what they did differently. And what I did is I just took everybody's negativity and everybody's negative opinion, and I did have one negative experience with them, but not nearly enough to shit on them and put it out there into the world that I didn't like what they were all about. So again, final time I'll say it, I apologize to 034 Motorsport. That will never happen again to any company unless it personally happens to me, and then obviously I'll share my story with the world. But no more sharing other people. No, people reach out to me and share their stuff with me all the time, which I truly do appreciate. Don't get me wrong. I really appreciate when people share their stories with me and what has happened using other companies' performance software, performance hardware, and so forth. But just know that I will not be speaking out for anybody else but myself. So I'm very excited to get 034 Motorsport software on my Mk8 Gti and see what it can do. So now I'm going to jump into the disclaimers. Now these disclaimers are going to be quickly posted through every video where I do a comparison between one and another or multiple companies. But I'm going to go through them now quickly so you guys know what it's going to take, what I can control and what I can't control when I do this tuner battle. Number one is I am not perfect, I'm not a scientist, and I can't control the weather conditions. Now, I need you guys all to know that if you were to do this testing in a controlled environment, you will be able to have the same environmental conditions for each of the software that I use. But because I am at the mercy of Mother Nature, every day that I get on the dyno, beginning of the day is going to have the best advantage to make power, because it's going to be the coldest and is going to have the lowest density altitude. Now, as the day goes on, it's going to warm up and the density altitude will raise. So a software that I run at the beginning of the day will probably have an advantage over the software I run at the end of the day. So if I compare multiple company software and someone tests in the morning in really cold weather, they're going to have an advantage over the company that tests at the end of the day, tests in really warm weather. I need you guys to understand that, because when I'm showing these comparisons between the tunes and the dyno results show, what, 5 to 10 horsepower difference, you guys have to take into account that the environmental conditions may have changed. Disclaimer number 2, I am trusting every single one of these companies that I'm working with to provide me their off-the-shelf software. This is not a custom tuning comparison. All I want is the off-the-shelf calibrations that each of these companies has made for whatever particular octane I am testing. To start out, I already mentioned I will be doing APR, but past that, I'm going to be doing stage 1 91 octane low torque files. And I'm going to run them all against each other on the same day, back to back to back to back to back, and we're going to see how well they work. But no, I can't control what these companies are giving me. I want an off-the-shelf tune. They are all aware of that. I can't say whether one is going to spice up the tune a bit more. Now, it would be stupid of them to do that, because if I nuke my motor in my video, it's going to look horrible on them. But I am trusting each and every one of them to provide me off-the-shelf software so I can give you guys an awesome comparison of what you, the general public, would purchase from them. Disclaimer number 3. I will be doing my utmost best to provide you as much data as I can. I want to make the data and the performance numbers speak for themselves. Now, I am an opinionated person, but I try my best to keep my opinion back when I am showing data. In all of my previous videos, I've only used single companies for my builds. My RS3 is a UNITRONIC build. Both my S4s were integrated engineering builds. So I didn't have anything to compare it against. All I was able to say is, this is how fast my car went when I used this software. This is how fast my car went when I used this hardware. I was never able to say this was better than that. So in this comparison, I will try my best to refrain from putting in my opinion, but if I see something clear as day, like things are tested back to back within half an hour of each other, and one software just runs that much better than the other, I'll probably say something. But at the end of the day, I will try my best to make sure the performance speaks for itself. If I'm able to get out there and show you guys 60 to 130 tests, and I do back-to-back testing, one's significantly quicker than the other, it's kind of a no-brainer. That's going to be the superior software in terms of speed. But there's other things out there like drivability, which is my next point. I will also try my best to make videos that are completely subjective, like drivability. I can't definitively say to you, this drives better than the other, because that's my opinion. There's no real data that I can show you guys to prove that to you. But I will try my best to get enough seat time on each of the company's software that I can say to you guys, this one did feel a bit smoother, this one felt like it needed less throttle application to get going, all those little things. I might not have all the time in the world to do those subjective videos as well, but I will absolutely try my best. As for the disclaimers, I think that pretty much wraps it up. If I have forgot any that I come up with after I've shot this video, I will make sure to put them in the videos where I am doing a comparison between multiple companies. So the first thing you can expect from me is an APR Plus video, 87 octane and their 91 octane low torque stage 1 tunes. Again, you can pay $1,000 more and you get a limited powertrain warranty. So that's different than any other company, and that's why I'm showcasing that by itself. Past then, I will flash it back to stock, and I'm going to line up all that software all for 1 day of dyno testing with back-to-back-to-back testing, all in the same day, all in the same fuel, all in the same dyno. I'm going to do my absolute best to give you guys a fair and unbiased comparison of how well software works on your Mk8 Gti. I am freaking pumped to do this video series. I have never done something like this, but I have enough experience now working with other companies, building some extremely fast daily driven cars, and now working on my RS3 race car, that I think I can nail this for you guys, and I can showcase just how well, or possibly how poorly, the software out there may work. Thank you so very, very much for watching. Till next time, guys, take care.